Yeah, I just stopped recording, so what
Yeah,
number?
you have a few minutes?
I do, yeah.
Because we don't get to talk too often, and here's an opportunity. If I'm quite busy too, so since we are connected, it would be a good time to catch up. So you're saying tomorrow is your birthday?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. You've beaten the odds.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
You're still driving fine too,
Yeah.
and I
No,
guess
I just it's amazing when I go in. I went into emergency 4 days ago, and they look at my medical record,
whoa.
and the emergency doctor, his expression is one of shock, and I've got a smile on my face. I said, Doc, I don't know what's going on here, but uh, I'm not worried about a damn thing. I've had a great life, and life's going on, and whatever happens, happens. And I, uh, I told him the story of Haley Wickenheiser being an emergency doctor like him, and she's also an assistant GM with the Leafs. And I said to ask Haley, "Why are you doing it?" He says, "I have to be the emergency doctor. It's the only thing that keeps me grounded and provides perspective." So my situation in life and the way I've lived it and where I'm at today is perspective. Doing things the right way for the right reason, uh, just to be the best you can be. And it's not just for winning in sports, it's actually for a better society as a whole because as a species, we've done a bad job in terms of humanity. And I think sports can change things. I think that's what the Olympics were intended to do. And
Unfortunately, it's only for every 4 years.
yeah,
Uh, but the thing that I'm working on right now, art centered leadership, is that's right at the core, at the center of what we're talking about. And of course, like we've talked about this stuff before, you have to pay the bills. And I'm working with two clients. We're building this company. I like I said, I'm going to send you the link. And it's about, like I'm an engineer by profession, and the other two guys are too. So we're using a Trojan horse approach where, like with the technical knowledge we've got over 80 years between ourselves, helping people enhance their profits through technology. It allows us to get inside the walls. Well, we've just talked about the flames. How do you get inside there? I'm trying to get inside the walls with the senators. And I don't know, maybe with Jacques Martin now back, it'll happen. And the idea is to help, like mindset. It's helping CEOs change their mindset from seeking profit to seeking care of people so that they take care of profits. And in so doing, of course, it transforms the atmosphere inside the bubble. I call it the bubble, which is the entity, the organization, the corporation, changing the atmosphere to one where people feel safe about saying what they mean and meaning what they say, and also contributing to the max. Uh, Two words that come with us: enabling and empowering. And like I've talked about that in my other book, the 10 discussions for effective leadership. But I'm writing a third book right now, which is about the 5 pillars of leadership in a peak performance environment. And, like I got a long career in corporate work. I've got at least 6 years with the federal government. And a lot of the work I've done, like consulting and coaching, I see forever the problems that hail organizations. And if we take it to hockey, the same thing happens, and there's a very good reason. It's because the common denominator is human beings, and we've talked about parents and coaches and, the kids, and it's all about communication, isn't it?
It's got everything to do with communication. Like I've simplified it even more, Ray. When Saul talked about love, and he talked the story about the lady that at the Christian hockey school told him to pray for the coach. And religion, prayer, it's sort of an area of disbelief now. And in terms of, using the word God and saying a prayer, that's what people do that changes their mindset and their feeling towards themselves and others. And it's a good thing.
The unfortunate thing is, yeah, go ahead.
The simplest, I for those that don't believe in God, and I'm not sure, I just say the word good is God. And the good of the game, when I use that expression to the point of overusing it, I refer to it so often, and I'm sure listeners roll their eyes. Oh, there he goes again. And I'm just saying, let's look at what we're doing that's good. What are we good at? What are you good at? What are we doing right? And that becomes the sort of the lamp for us to create, to follow, to see the big picture. Because life's too short, and you want to leave the world a better place, and you want to influence people for the better.
Well, you know the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? And Stephen Covey talks about the 4 things that humans seek. Like most of them without knowing. First is to live, to love, to learn. And the 4th one is what we're talking about right now, leave a legacy.
Yeah.
And people do not realize it. When they start realizing it, then it gives a lot of value to what they're doing. And now they shift their focus towards, like doing something for others. I think that a lot of people are not happy, maybe I should say a majority of people are not happy in life because they haven't learned that happiness is giving. And giving of yourself and of knowledge and the abilities that you have to help others grow. That's why coaching is so rewarding. Like I work with a lot of people, and I just finished a program with a 48-year-old project manager that makes a lot of money, but was not happy with his life. He was downright disgusted with his life. I worked with him for 6 weeks, and he is transformed. And it's transformed because, like he calls it that. That's what I call the work I do. It's called Pathways to Breakthrough Transformation. And maybe I'll send you the summary for that. The Pathways to Breakthrough Transformation.
Yeah.
And it starts with knowing where the hell you're going, huh? You know, like a lot of people are kind of spinning their wheels. They're on the road to nowhere. Like Dennis Waitley says, if you don't know where you're going, you're on the road to nowhere.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's very important, I think, you know, like, and you do it, I'm sure, Wally, is when you talk to coaches, is why do you do it? Why do you do it? Because when they start kind of going inside and understanding why they're doing it, it transforms how they see it. It transforms how they do it. It transforms how they deal with the players.
Yeah.
It transforms their perception. And now they start focusing on the positive because that's the only way you move up or forward.
Ray, the Simon Sinek,
Yes,
know your why.
yes.
And Tom, are you still listening?
Yeah.
Why do you do what you still do?
Oh, I enjoy doing it. It's, you know, it's something I'm pretty good at. A lot of it's got to do with that Jim does it with me.
Your son.
I don't know if I'd do it if he wasn't coaching with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, even my last two practices, I had Emily run that one. Then I had Jim totally run. I just stood in the bench. He gives a different perspective of you can watch the players more carefully because you're not kind of running the show kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just gives some kind of a sense of accomplishing something. I don't know if I could just sit around all the time. I don't like doing that,
Yeah.
you know. So who knows? I enjoy doing it though, and you know, like when you have groups like we had last year with the parents, we were still having parties in June last year.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, this year seems to be a pretty good group.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you may not do it consciously, but I think you're doing it for the good of the game. And I think this is my feeling. What you're doing is so good for people. I actually related to the seminary influence that you had growing up before you went into teaching. You served. You're serving. Yeah, you're doing this stuff and you're good at it and you're feeling good about it and you're being acknowledged and appreciated by many people. But you've had ups and downs and you still come back to do it. Even though the adults, the parents don't understand, you're doing things the right way for the best interests of their kids in mind.
Yeah, well, I think that's why I do this hockey site that I do. I think it went up to 15,600 followers today.
Yeah.
You know, I just put stuff on there just to help them with their
You're a servant. Yeah.
running practices.
Congratulations, Tom. You're making a difference.
Yeah.
Ah, well, thanks, Ray.
And you know, I don't know if you've seen my business card, Tom, but my logo underneath is partners in creating a better world. And that's what I'm about. You know, like whatever undertaking I work on, whether it's a 13-year-old skier that her dad asked me to coach her, or a professional athlete, my thought, and you know, it kind of transpired in what we were doing. And I think, Wally, you brought it up, is it's not about the sport. It's about the person becoming all that he or she could be. Yeah. And in doing so, accomplishes and reaches and, you know, like develops self-satisfaction that really makes life pleasant and worth living.